Hey everyone, welcome back to USA Car Reviews, your go-to channel for deep dives into classic American automotive history. Today we're stepping back into the early 60s to talk about a true original, a vehicle that dared to be different, the one and only, 1961 Ford Econoline Pickup. Now when you think of pickup trucks from the 60s, you might picture long hoods, bulky bodies, and engines tucked neatly under the front. But Ford did something radically different with the Econoline. This wasn't just another variation on the F-Series, this was a completely reimagined approach to what a compact pickup could be. Launched in 1961, the Ford Econoline Pickup was based on the first-generation Econoline van. It shared most of its structure with that van, and that meant a few things that were immediately unusual for a pickup at the time. First, this truck was cab-over, meaning the driver sat above the front axle and the engine was located inside the cabin, between the seats. That was pretty wild for a pickup in 1961. It was compact, it was light, and it was built with utility in mind. So why did Ford build something like this? Well, in the late 1950s and early 60s, there was a growing demand for compact work vehicles, especially in urban areas where space was tight and maneuverability mattered more than towing power. Ford took a page from European van designs and created a light-duty, forward control vehicle that maximized cargo space while keeping the size down. The result, the Econoline van and pickup, two cousins built on the same platform. The Econoline Pickup had a wheelbase of 90 inches, that's seriously short by today's standards, and the total length was just under 15 feet. But because the driver was sitting on top of the front wheels, Ford was able to offer an incredibly long cargo bed relative to the truck's overall size. The bed was about 7.5 feet long, with the rear wheels placed all the way at the back of the frame. It was almost all usable space. Under the hood, or rather, under the seat, you had a choice of two engines. The base motor was a 2.4-liter inline-six that made 85 horsepower. You could also upgrade to a 2.8-liter inline-six that pushed out 101 horsepower. Doesn't sound like much today, but for a light, compact truck in the early 60s, it got the job done. Both engines were paired with a 3-speed manual transmission mounted on the column. Now here's something you don't hear every day. The Econoline Pickup had a front weight distribution of nearly 60%. That means it was very nose-heavy. Why? Because the engine sat forward of the rear axle and just behind the front axle, right under the cabin. That made handling a little interesting, especially when the bed was empty. In fact, owners back then would sometimes throw a bag of sand in the back just to keep the rear end planted. But even with that odd layout, the Econoline Pickup was praised for its maneuverability and ease of use. It had a tight turning radius, it was easy to park, and it could carry a payload of around 1,500 pounds, impressive for such a small truck. This made it popular among small business owners, electricians, plumbers, and delivery drivers. Styling-wise, the 1961 model looked simple but purposeful. Up front, you had a wide, flat face with twin round headlights and a small grille just under the windshield. It almost looked like a friendly robot. The side profile was completely flat with subtle character lines, and the truck rode on 14-inch steel wheels. There was nothing flashy about it, it was built for work, not posing. Inside the cab, things were minimal. Just a metal dashboard, basic gauges, a bench seat, and that engine hump between the seats. If you've ever ridden in one, you'll know that the cabin gets warm fast. Especially in the summer, because the engine heat comes right through the doghouse. But it also made engine access pretty easy for quick repairs. What made the Econoline Pickup special wasn't just its layout, it was the fact that Ford was willing to break the mold and try something totally new. This was America's answer to compact utility. And it wasn't alone for long. Dodge would soon release the A100, and Chevrolet would jump into the game with the Corvair 95 Rampside, which had a rear-mounted engine. The Ford Econoline Pickup stayed in production until 1967, with only minor styling and mechanical changes. Over its lifespan, around 13,000 units were produced per year on average, not huge numbers, but enough to make an impact. Today, surviving models are rare, and clean examples are becoming highly collectible. Collectors and enthusiasts love them for their unique design and their place in automotive history. There's a real charm to the Econoline Pickup, from its cab-over layout to its bare-bones interior and its working-class roots. It represents a time when automakers weren't afraid to experiment, when form really did follow function, and when trucks didn't have to be massive to be useful. And let's be honest, they just look cool. That flat front end, the narrow stance, the long bed, it's like nothing else on the road today. You see one of these at a car show, and it stops you in your tracks. You just want to know more about it. It's not just a truck, it's a conversation starter. If you're lucky enough to find one, and even luckier to own one, then you know how special these are. Whether you're restoring it back to showroom condition or turning it into a retro custom, the 1961 Econoline Pickup offers a solid base and a whole lot of personality. So that's the story of the 1961 Ford Econoline Pickup, a compact, quirky, and clever little workhorse that still turns heads over 60 years later. It might not be the most powerful or the fastest truck out there, but it's definitely one of the most original. Thanks for watching USA Car Reviews. If you enjoyed this trip into vintage Ford history, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments what classic American vehicle you want to see next. We've got a lot more coming your way, so stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.